Basically, we need to understand what is serialization, what is deserialization. What is a serialization? What is a deserialization? When I say serialization, converting the object in the form of string is called serialization. Converting the object in the form of string is called serialization. Deserialization. When I say deserialization, converting the string back to the original format of the object. Whatever the string I have given, if you convert back this string into original format of object, then we call it as deserialization. So we have serialization, deserialization. When I say serialization, what is the meaning of it? Serialization. First one, we have serialization. What do you mean by serialization? Converting the object into string format is called serialization. Deserialization. Converting the string is called deserialization. While deserializing, you are supposed to go for typecasting. While deserializing, we need to use typecasting. Why typecasting? Because string should be converted into which object? You want the string to be converted into integer. You want the string to be converted into account. You want the string to be converted into wrapper class. In which format the string has to be converted? Now we have object converted into string. So anything can be converted into string, no problem. But when you are converting the string back to the object, into which object format we want to convert? Is the string converted into account, contact, opportunity, wrapper class, list of accounts, list of contacts? What is the format? That is the reason we are supposed to use deserialization. While you are doing a deserialization, we are supposed to go for typecasting. How do you do the typecasting? Data type, variable name equal to data type. In whichever the format you want to convert, suppose if I want to convert into integer age, what do you give? Integer. You want to convert into account ACC, account. Like this, we are supposed to go for typecasting. Serialization, deserialization. Now, we can serialize the data. We can serialize or deserialize the data using JSON and XML. So what are these JSON and XML? They are used to serialize and deserialize the data. Okay. Now, what was this JSON? What was this JSON? JavaScript object notation. JavaScript object notation. The JSON stands for JavaScript object notation. What was the JavaScript object notation? It is the format of exchanging the data between two systems. It is a format of exchanging the data bit across the network. Two systems across the network. JSON is the format of exchanging the data between two systems across the network. Now, it is a language independent. It is a language independent. It is a platform independent. It is a language independent, platform independent, self-described. JSON is a format of exchanging the data between two systems across the network. It is independent from it is independent from the language. You use whatever the language, Java or .NET or PHP or whatever it is, it will work. It is independent from the language. It is independent from the platform. It is a self-describing. Now, let me give you why the JSON was used in the beginning stage of the web technologies. People used to exchange the data. Two systems used to exchange the data. Let us say banking, ICICI Bank. I have HDFC Bank, or let us say Amazon. Somebody is making a payment from Amazon. They are making a payment using ICICI Bank. Now, when the two systems want to communicate, these people used to send the data like this. Satish, Hyderabad, like this. Now, Amazon is sending the data like this to ICICI Bank. Now, ICICI Bank received the data. Very good. But the problem is, I am not understanding the meaning of this data. Is that 10,000 is the amount or a PIN code or the credit card number? Now, what was that? You have sent the data, I received the data, but I am unable to understand the meaning of the data. I am unable to understand the meaning of the data. I can understand, but it is a complex for me. You are exchanging the data is delivered to the destination, but the destination finding difficult to convert this data according to the requirement. Why? Because you are only sharing the information, you are not sharing the meaning of the data. You are only sharing the information, but you are not sharing the meaning of the data. Right? You have seen Bahubali movie, right? Some Kaikai language is there. The fellow spoke some language. Okay, we enjoying, we don't know the meaning of it. The same thing is happening here in the web technology. The people are exchanging the data in the form of HTML or a text. So data is exchanged, but the meaning of the data is not clear to the destination. They are finding it difficult to understand the meaning because you are not specifying the meaning of the data. Then people introduced second format called XML. Then when the people introduced a second format of data exchange, XML, here they are saying boss, name, employee, last name. Some data I am sharing. So this is how the data is exchanged. When this data is exchanged, now this Amazon has sent the following data to ICICI. Now ICICI received this data. Now when you receive the data, your understanding, Maila is the last name, Satish is the first name, experience is 15, salary is 10,000, Hyderabad is the city. Now what is exchanged here? Data is exchanged, meaning of the data is also exchanged. Data is exchanged, meaning of the data is also exchanged. So the destination who received this data understand the data because you also mentioned meaning of the data. When I say Satish, it is the first name. When I say 15, it is the experience. When I say 10,000, it is a salary. When I say Hyderabad, it is a city. What is happening here? Data is exchanged along with the meaning. So people have replaced the text format of exchanging the data. text or HTML people say. The text or HTML format of exchanging the data is replaced by XML. Then people started exchanging the data by using XML as the people are able to understand meaning and the data. Then what happened? Now, while you are using this XML, I had a difficulty level. What is this difficulty level? In the XML, data is small. Maila, Satish, 15, 10,000, Hyderabad. But to exchange the data, we are adding lot of headers. Okay, last name starting, last name ending, first name starting, first name ending, name start, name end, experience start, experience end. More than the data, the overheads are occupying more space. Data is occupying less space, overheads are occupying more space. Then people have thought, boss, when the size of the data increase, packets will increase. When the packets are increasing, it takes more time for delivering the data. So performance will be impacted. Now what is happening? We are exchanging the data because the size of the data is becoming, is increasing. The performance of the application is decreasing. Then the people have thought, boss, we need to avoid these overheads. This is very good way of exchanging the data. There is no question about it. But the problem is overheads are occupying more space. This is leading to performance degradation. Then the people have thought for the other alternative. What is that other alternative? That is JSON. What is the other alternative? JSON. In the JSON, entire data is exchanged in the form of key value pair, or we can say name value pair. JSON is also one of the format of exchanging the data, where data is exchanged in the form of name value pair. Everything that JSON represent will be in the form of object. Anything that JSON want to represent will be in the form of object. In the object, it is going to be in the form of name value pair. In the object, it is going to be in the form of name value pair. If you are learning a Lightning, entire story will be in JSON only. Okay. Now look at the format. When you go to the JSON, in JSON, it is represented like this. How? What happened? Compared to the XML, overheads are reduced. Compared to the XML, overheads are reduced. If you look at this, people understand what is the data. At the same time, they get the data and they also understand the meaning of the data, and the overheads are reduced. And the overheads are reduced. I hope you got my point. So JSON was a enhancement to the XML. As the XML is conveying the data and the meaning, people want to have the same. But at the same time, they want to reduce the overheads. That is how the concept of JSON was introduced. So in the JSON, everything is represented in the form of object. The way you represent an object in the JavaScript, similarly, in the same way, we represent JSON. JavaScript object notation. There's nothing to do with JavaScript, but object format is used. Are you clear? So how the JSON is used? Everything will be in the form of flower bracket, because flower bracket indicate object. Flower bracket indicate object. In the JSON, anything that you exchange will be in the form of object. JSON exchanges data in the form of name value pair. Everything in the JSON will be in the represented notation. So syntax, basic JSON is what? This is the JSON. What was this? Now you give This is how we are going to get name, value, pay. Name, value, pay. Now, this is how we are representing Jay SON. Everything is represented in the form of key value pair. We have last name, first name, key, what is this? Name, value. Name, value. So they are separated by what? Comma. We have multiple elements separated by comma. Name, value pair is separated by colon. Name, value pair is separated by colon. Name, colon, value. And everything we are representing in what? Double quotes. Other than numericals, everything we represent in double quotes. I hope you are good with this. I hope you are good with this. Clear for everyone? Okay. Now, look at the next example. Suppose I have a wrapper class like this. Public class student. Public string name. Public string. Public string. Now, this is the class. The data which is represented by this class, I want to put it in the form of JSON. Now, tell me how you create flower bracket. This is a case sensitive. If it is small, I have to give small. I hope you are good. Now, this wrapper class, I want to convert in the form of JSON and send it. So, generally what we do, create an object for the class and send it. The same thing, if I represent in the form of JSON, this is how the data is good. I hope you got my point. Is that was clear? Is that was clear? Okay. Next example. Now, put this in the form of JSON. Represent this data in the form of JSON. Represent this data in the form of JSON. Represent this data in the form of JSON. Everyone write the code. Then how we are giving here? Now, okay, look at the format. Because it is an account, I want to say account. Fine. So I'm giving here name. I'm only representing the data. This is how I am doing. So basically, I just represented in the form of name value pair. Now, array of elements. What is the next one we had here? Array of elements. Array of elements in the form of JSON. Look at the format. Marks, colon. Array of elements. Value is given in the form of value given in the form of value given in the form of array. Array bracket, we have the values. Next. This is how I have values array of elements or list of elements. Array or list or set. Array of elements or list of elements or set of elements are represented in this format. Array of elements or list of elements are now. Let us go to the next example. How you represent object? How you represent object? Like I told you. Now previously I gave this data. Now I want to represent the object. When you want to represent the object, look at the point ACC. If I want to represent in the form of object, try to get this. Now value is what? Value is object. How do you represent the object? Flower brackets is the format of representing the object. So account is the name, value. In the object what we have? Example. Now create this. Create this in the form of JSON. We have an object contact CON. Create this. So contact. I hope you are good with this. If you understand the way of rating, then only you can understand the deserialization. When somebody send the data, how do you fetch the data and use it? Everyone is good with that? Object is represented with a flower bracket. Now next, we have the next story here. List of objects. How to define a list of objects in JSON? So let us say I have a list of objects here. New list of. This is my data. Now, how will you represent this data in the form of JSON? I have this data. How this data can be represented in the form of JSON? So look at the format. JSON start with flower bracket, end with flower bracket. Here first I have. Now it's array of accounts. I told you list of elements or array of elements. Is a list of elements or array of elements. This is what we got. Then in this array, first object, rating, I hope people have followed this. Accounts, array, object 1, object 2. Array of account records. I hope everyone is following me. Everyone has followed me. Right. Then, do one more example. Represent this array of elements. Represent this data. Right, boss? Now let us take the array. This is how I created. So basic structures are clear. So JSON is represented in the form of name value. An entire JSON is represented in the form of object. Object is given as flower bracket. Array is given with array brackets. I hope you are good with this example. The basic structure is clear. Okay. Now what we need to understand is how we implement this in Apex class. Using Apex programming, how do you generate these structures? Now in general we have seen how the structure will be defined. But in the Salesforce, how will you implement it? So here we have. In the Salesforce, we have the first class, JSON. JSON is the predefined Apex class. What this class will contain? This class is defined under the namespace of, so under the system namespace, we have a class called JSON, system.json. We have a namespace called system. Under the namespace of system, we have a class called JSON. What this class contain? This class contains all the methods required to serialize the data, and deserialize. JSON is the predefined Apex class in the Salesforce. This class is defined under the namespace of system. This class contains all the methods required to serialize and deserialize the data. So what are the methods we have? Mute your mics. Online, whoever is in online, mute your mics. Who is here? Bindu, mute your mic. Right. So what are the methods we have? What are the methods we have? So we have couple of methods here. Let us look at this. Serialize, deserialize. So let us understand one by one method. Serialize, then we have deserialize, let us go back to this. We have serialize pretty. Serialize. We have deserialize. JSON string. Deserialize untyped. Create parser. Create. So we have create parser. So these are the methods which are available on this class. JSON is the predefined Apex class in the Salesforce. This class is defined under the namespace of system. This class contains all the methods required to serialize and deserialize the data. So what are the methods we have? Serialize. And all these methods are static methods. Above methods are. When I say static methods, how do you call? JSON.serialize, JSON.serialize, JSON.deserialize. Okay, like this. Okay. Next. Now, if you observe this, you are finding a pretty format, non-pretty format. You are using a word called pretty format, non-pretty format. What is this pretty format and non-pretty format? JSON format. Pretty format and non-pretty format. Look at this. This is one format. What is the difference you are finding? The spaces are given between the characters. The space will be given between the characters. That is only the difference. Okay, there is no conceptual difference here. Only the spaces will be given between the elements. That is called a pretty format. No space, non-pretty format. Okay, let us start the first example. How to serialize the data. Now, how to serialize the data? Public. Look at this format. Try to go with a map. Right. That's what we discussed till now was serialization what? Converting the data into string. Right. Now look at the format. JSON data. First I am going with integer age equal to 30. Then I am giving string 1 equal to JSON dot serialize. Serialize means what? Converting object in the form of string. Decimal string. Right. Then I have a predefined class here, public class. I'll try to define this class outside so that I can reuse it multiple number of times. So here I'm creating student. I'm trying to apply serialization. What is that serialization? Simply, when you say serialize, object is converted in the form of string. Object is converted in the form of string. String 3 equal to what I'm doing? JSON dot serialize. What is the object we had? Simply when you say serialize, convert the object in the form of string. Now, then I'm giving string 4 equal to JSON dot serialize. So what did I do? Converted the integer in the form of string, converted the decimal in the form of string, converted the wrapper class in the form of string, converted the list of S object in the form of string. JSON dot serialize, convert the object in the form of string. Put this data in the map. JSON data. First one integer. JSON data dot put. What is the second value? Decimal value I have put. Wrapper class. So what did I do in this case? Whatever the object we received, that objects I converted in the form of JSON string. JSON dot serialize. It will convert the object in the form of string. So I have taken different data types and told JSON dot serialize. So object what I have taken is converted into your string format. Even integer, it is a wrapper class. Right. So go back here, print the data. I'm just displaying the map. I'm displaying the map using a page block view. So whatever the data I kept in the map, I was trying to display it in the VF page. Now look at this. Decimal serializing. Converting the data in the form of a string. Converting the data in the form of a string. Because they are primitive, we got straight away. Now these are reference. Look at this. Array of array bracket, attributes, type, name. Are you getting my point? Now there is an issue with this. If we straight away serialize, we are getting a lot of unwanted data here. Attributes, type, account. I don't want this. This is my data. But we are getting a lot of unwanted things. That is the reason we don't use JSON.serialize directly. We will go for dynamic serialization. This is called static serialization. Straight away give a object, it will convert it in the form of string. When you go to static serialization, a lot of unwanted data will be getting. So that's the reason we go for dynamic serialization. But here, when it says serialize, convert the object in the form of string. Convert the object in the form of string. Convert the object in the form of string. I hope you are good with this. Okay. Same program, I am trying to create one more set. What was this? Look at the format. Public map of string comma string. I am going with 30 format. So what I am doing, the same serialization, x equal to JSON dot serialize pretty y equal to JSON dot serialize pretty. The same data I am also serializing in the form of pretty. JSON dot serialize. So you don't understand this with the primitives. You only understand this with respect to reference variables. Right. Now I am putting it map dot put integer x. I hope everyone has followed this. Just trying to understand what is the difference between serialized and serialized pretty. Both will be the same. Only the way they are represented the data, they are going to be different. So look at this. Go back to the VF page. Pretty means what? I told you. What is the meaning of pretty? What we told? Space between characters. Space between element to element there will be a space. Pretty print format. Let me show you this. Put accounts string M. There's a bug here we received. Column JSON data dot key. It was supposed to be pretty map of. Okay. So go back and see. Now what is the difference you are finding? Look at this wrapper. Look at the wrapper, or else look at the list object. Here there is no space. Here we are getting a space. After floor bracket, we are getting a space. Same data. Data-wise there is no different. But element to element there is one character space. Look at this. Last name, space, last name, space, colon, space, mailer. This is called pretty print format. Pretty is not a terminology. It is a format. Pretty is not a concept. It is a format of representing the data. When it's a pretty format, space will be coming between element to element. I hope you are good with this. Am I clear? So what we have? JSON dot serialize, JSON dot serialize pretty. Pretty format or non-pretty format. Non-pretty means regular format. Pretty format means we get one character space. I hope you are good with this. Clear for everyone? Okay. Now I will explain the same concept here one more time. Look at the format. We have taken a student. Age I was not giving. Age I have not given. In the wrapper class I have last name, first name, age, but I have not given any age. When you don't give any age, what we are getting? Age equal to age. We are getting age null. But what happened? I want to go for serialize, suppress null values. Suppress null values. What is that suppress null values? Look at the format. JSON dot serialize object std suppress nulls. Suppress null. When it is suppress null values are suppressed. JSON data output. Same story. JSON dot serialize pretty. Now I am giving pretty map dot so what I was doing, serialize pretty, serialize suppress nulls. Okay, serialize pretty, suppress nulls. Go back to this story. Now look at the format. Suppress null, last name, first name, age is not coming. Suppress last name, first name, age is not coming. In the below one, we are getting age equal to null. So in case when you are converting an object in the form of a string, if any one of the attributes of the object are not entered, any one of the attributes in the object are not entered, do you want to represent them as a null or you want to bypass it? So if you want to bypass the null values, suppress null. What is that? Serialize, serialize object comma suppress null. When it is suppress null, give true value. So whatever the null values are there, they are removed from the data representation. I hope you are good. So what are the four methods we have? Serialize, object suppress null value, serialize pretty. I hope you are good with this four, right? Okay. So deserialization we'll see it in the next session. I hope you are good with this format. Clear? Any query from your end? I hope all the four methods are clear. Right. We'll continue in the next session. Next session will be on Saturday at 8:30 a.m. 8:30 a.m. on Saturday, IST. Only for this next week we'll have 8:30 a.m. Then on it will be 8 o'clock. Okay. Next Saturday at 8:30 a.m. IST, the session will be. Now I told boss, this is non-pretty. Pretty means this is pretty. That's all. This is a pretty format. This is non-pretty format. This is pretty format. This is non-pretty. What we are getting? Space between elements. Space we are getting between elements, which is called pretty format. Now map is what? Map has nothing to do with the JSON. I am converting the data, putting the data in the map. This is a serialization. This is serialization. Now I am taking the data and putting in a map. It's my choice whether I want to put in a map or list, because I want to display all the elements at a time. I kept in a map. Pretty means space between every element. I hope you are good. Right. Chalo. You can access the notes from the account. Okay. That's all from my end. See you all in the next session.